Okay. That is the wrong tab. Excuse me. Pick a different tab, please. Nope. Why are you doing this? There we go. That's much better. You are not sized correctly. There we go. Let's see how this looks or works. It is entirely too hot, but here I am anyway. I'm gonna have to see real quick, does it actually work? Is it gonna do what I hope it does? It's not doing it. Why is it not doing it is the question. Because I did, based on a suggestion from just yesterday, allegedly add a multi-chat thing, which did its job just earlier, but I don't see it do anything. What about here? No? That is weird. Alright, what's the issue? What's the issue here? I want to get started on penultimate, but before I do that, I want to get that chat to work. It did earlier when I tried it out. Now, of course, it's not doing anything. Slightly, you know? Alright, attempt number 4. What about this one? Does this work? Hmm. Okay. I think I know what's happening. Alright, what's going on here? At least I can show you this for now. I'm stubborn like that. I want it to work. Because it did work. No? You don't wanna play nice? I see. Nope. No. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, well, I guess not. Technology is not my friend. I did have it working literally earlier today because I set it up earlier today. But now, I guess it doesn't want to. So, multi-chat shall be remaining a thing of the future from today, so I can get that off so it's not bothering you. This little box over here on the right should be what you want to see, but it's not doing it. So yeah, and I am way too warm to continue breaking my head over it. I would instead rather break my head over other things, like Figma. Figma for the the penultimate board again. I've moved it over to a different site or a different type of Figma page, I guess. So now it's actually dark mode, and you can see things because you're not getting flashbanged by the website. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I only have to figure out what it is I want to do now. So today the idea is that despite the blazing heat, we will work a little bit more on Penultimate, and then probably at some point, because my gas is gonna run out, play some games. That might be some more Tainted Grail, but hey, I'll see about that later. Last time I was ending on Magic, and I'm going to continuate. That's not a word. I'm going to continue with that over here. There you go. Gonna have to turn down my own music a little bit. Don't want that to take the forefront of my focus. Anyway, right, so about the different magic effects. One thing that needs to be done or tried out probably very extensively is the cost of these different effects, as well as what effects there are. We have the minuses. We have a fair amount of focus technically if we use the mind die times 10. And we saw, oh yeah, with this example, sound being 5 focus points, and the modifier of location being 5 focus points, of course, gives you 10. 10 is fairly hard to get if you have like 3 d4s, if you're like as bad as it comes. But if you have already 4 things that reduce the cost, like using gestures and your voice and everything to help yourself, then that becomes 6, and 6 is much more doable. And of course, all of this is going to be recontextualized, I guess, or shifted around if you have higher dice. So 5 FP as the base for a normal effect, for something that might be very much harmless, I guess. Gives us a little bit of a baseline, I guess. So, I guess all these things should cost at least 5. How do I note it down best? We could also think about what other effects we might want to have. For example, spatial. I guess maybe that would be a thing of a modifier, but I imagine that if you want to like hit someone spatially, then you would probably make that a, I guess, spatial barrier, and have that spatial barrier move, because you know, like even if you have essentially like a blade or a cinder block. Cinder block is such a random example. A cinder block, a giant hammer or something, just, you know, having that in space doesn't really hurt anyone unless it moves or they move into it, but I guess, you know, could also be. So, I guess movement should be a modifier. And then movement plus barrier can turn it into something that hurts. I don't even need to specify what kind of like barrier or what the shape is, I guess. Maybe that would be a modifier itself, shape. Probably. Let's see. Shape. There we go. Easy. So, let's see. I'm just gonna write them in here like this. And oh, it's there you go. Didn't mean to cut the music out entirely. I'm gonna write it out here like this and then possibly make it just nicer in the future. Sound. FB. Image. Also by itself, not harmful, I guess. $510 focus. No, telepathy, not 7. I already apologize for this possibly coming across a little bit arbitrary, but I have to somewhere. And the way I imagine it is a little bit of like how. Actually, I don't want it to be meta. I don't want to make them more expensive based on how strong they are necessarily, but on how difficult it would maybe be to get that effect when you're communicating it to an entity that doesn't understand you. So making a sound, maybe not. Making an image, possibly also not. But like talking to someone in their head or just reading what's in their mind, that's already a little bit more complicated. Memory reading. I think a lot of the cost also comes from the modifiers, so it's maybe not too bad to have the basic effects fairly low cost. So just realized hallucination and telepathy are kind of the same thing. Not sure if I should write it out here like this, or what limitations I might want to put. I think it's probably better to have exceptions rather than be the norm, because I thought about it, but like having the possibility of just adding more effects than one into a spell, that might be very chaotic and hard to decipher what happens, but I'll have to test that. For now, I would think that telepathy specifically is one of those things that you can combine with other stuff. So telepathy, originally you project a message, your own thought, I guess. But why not use that with one of the other things to make a person think something, or make a person like see something. So yeah. Sorry, I got caught up in thought. I should just continue doing rather than thinking. Growth. Maybe the balance of different caustic stuff is not actually bad. Wait, funga? Is that a thing? Flora, fauna, and funga? Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. Flora, fauna, and funga. Right. Shove. Barrier. Density. I was about to almost get into like minimum levels, but let's not do that just yet. So after I just came up with these numbers, no, I'm still not gonna do it. I was again about to get into level restrictions, but I'm first going to get into the modifiers, I think, because they are really, really important actually. Right. Shape. We do like shapes. Actually, I don't think I need direction, because we have movement. Actually, I'm not sure I need to. I'm gonna move these a little bit. So the idea is, if you're casting a spell, you pick a main effect. Possibly, in some circumstances, you pick another effect or more. And then you pick modifiers that you use to shape how the spell is actually supposed to pan out. So, location, going to be a very standard one. You probably don't want a lot of these things to just be centered on yourself, so you have to specify a location. Location is also very crucial in the way that if it backfires or fails, it could mean that it is located on you. So if you create a fireball or something, and you want to spawn it on an enemy, but then the location is not what's it called, not working, you actually spawn it on yourself instead. Maybe a safer option would then be movement, I guess, or an alternative, depending on what you would rather not have. Then you know it's gonna start basically from you, but then it moves ideally towards the enemy. If it moves to a different direction, it would still move away from you, I suppose. But yeah, just something worth considering, maybe. Okay. Area. Area. Duration. Duration specified. I could probably imagine that, because I haven't worked them out fully yet. I could imagine that you could probably learn to have some consistency over certain effects. So, like, if you're very good at magic, at some point you can get duration, for example, to work very consistently. Or if it doesn't work, it doesn't like backfire in the worst possible way. Intensity. Now, intensity is the interesting one. Because intensity means that whatever you're trying or doing is magnified or multiplied. Now, by how much is the question? That would probably depend on like every effect. And I'm thinking, because it is depending on every effect itself, maybe intensity should be part of the spell effects. Because intensity for shove means, or would mean that I guess you can shove something heavier or something bigger, or that you shove it further. Upping the intensity of create fire would mean that you create a bigger or more brightly burning fire. But I guess either these baselines would be put into the basic effect, and then yeah, I see no reason to have an intensity thing not part of the effect itself, so that you could scale the effect up rather than add this modifier. So I'm gonna have to hold up 1 second. I appreciate you joining, if you are real, that is, if you're not a bot. I do have a Discord that you could join, and then you will be notified. But for now, this very much looks like spam. I'm sorry. Show of goodwill. Discord. This, however, I will remove, I think. Unless you want to prove right now that you're not a bot. Are you not a bot? I very much think that you are a bot, so yeah. Sorry. Not sorry. So intensity. And then I guess red. Can I turn it to red, please? There you go. Oh god, please. There we go. There we go. Gotta do that. No, I think in the Discord I had mentioned time. I'm not sure, I'll add time just for fun. Actually, do I? No, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna leave it out for now. Time is too finicky and complex, and very much possibly messes with the DM to have time magic. Now, what other magic could I have? Oh yeah, I could. Now I actually can do the level requirements. Let me think for a second. Let me think. Maybe not all of them would have level requirements even, but I think teleport definitely would. Oh, some of these I think probably have an effect or modifier built in, or would make most sense if they did. Like teleportation. Teleportation just has, because it says transport something somewhere else, so it has essentially location in there. Target. Can I just turn all of you into these now? How would I do that? Fill? No. Topography? I did not mean to do any of those. Oh. How do I turn things into bullet points? Yeah, I got it. Thank you. I'm way too hung up on this. But that's just me. I do be like that sometimes. Yeah, anyway. Well, these don't turn into... Okay, but you do. I think I'm gonna do... Yeah, I'm gonna swap location and target. I'll not swap it, but merge location into target. Right. Right, there we go. Finally. No, I see a teleport would be for one target only, but I would be willing to say that you can essentially target multiple things. So you can add more targets to it for the extra cost, or you could even add an area to it. No. It's really warm. Damn. Yep. It is now 3. Hey. I think I'm going to quickly take a quick break and then come back, possibly doing more penultimate. Otherwise, I'm going to do some... That's a pen. Can I have a normal? There we go. Otherwise, I will possibly do some gaming after. Okay, I think it is really hot. So I will probably actually take a moment to clear my head and also cool down and maybe let myself and my PC and everything cool down. I don't think that's going to bother anyone in particular. Scream out now in chat if you have a problem with that. Otherwise, I will come back ideally later when it's a little bit cooler, and then possibly do some more penultimate, but very probably actually do some more gameplay of maybe Tainted Grail, maybe something else. I'll have to see. But for now, I'm good. If you are anywhere in Central Europe, like I am, take it easy with the heat. And ideally, I'll see you again in a bit. Let the heat consume you. Oh, there you are. Is that the outcry that I just mentioned? That speaks to no continue. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well. Is it as hot for you as it is where I am right now? Cause it is really hot over here. I can scream loud. I'm sure you can. I've no doubts about that. Ah, lovely. Gonna drink all the water. Some nice cool water. But yeah, no, I'm not sure if you were here the entire time and were lurking. Not that I, mind either way. But no, I did a little bit of good progress, I guess. Well, mostly adding very arbitrary numbers and costs to different effects. But magic is getting a little bit more fleshed out. You just got here. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Well, what I did was, before I end anything, I'm going to tell you about it. But yeah, I was about to say that I might take a breather and possibly stream again later today, but just now I did this. I didn't come up with all of this, but I added the point cost to some of these and thought about it a little bit more. So we have the different schools of magic in Penultimate. They have different effects that you can learn that have their own focus point cost. And then you would combine these effects, essentially the core of any spell that you're trying to do, with modifiers to actually specify parts about the spell. So if you use if you use sound, then yeah, you make a sound. But if you don't specify where it is or anything, that sound would originate just from you, for example. Just a very basic example. So you would have to do sound and then target to have the sound come from somewhere else. Now this example would be psychic sound, 5 focus points, target 5 focus points, meaning 10 focus points total. These spells, just quick side tangent, these spells can of course fail, but failing to cast doesn't necessarily mean that there's no effect happening. If you're used to D&D, which I happen to know you are, imagine just a little bit like wild magic. If you mess up a spell, something may still happen, just not what you want. So, in this very harmless example of sound and location, if the spell fails and it's the location or target part that fails, then it's still going to make a sound, but located on you. Now, of course, that's going to be much more of a problem if you create a very damaging or, yeah, otherwise dangerous effect. So, yeah, magic can be quite risky. But we have some things that can help with that. Having equipment lowers the FP cost. So, you have to imagine I'm gesturing with my hands to count stuff. Gesticulation itself, like using your hands to cast a spell, that helps. It costs 1 less FP. Vocalization, shouting something out, that's going to help. Clothing and gear and equipment, like stuff that you hold in your hand, like a magic wand or something like that. Now, each of these by themselves don't lower it by all too much, at least with the current thing right now, but that would, for cheap spells, already make a big difference, because the example of sound and location comes out to a total of 10. If you roll 3d4 and you try to get a 10, that's maybe not the highest likelihood of it succeeding, but lowering this down to 6 makes it much easier. I just realized I probably failed to mention that the FP cost also sets the DC to do your thing. So a spell that is quite cheap in the overall thing, like making a sound that is located somewhere else, costs 10 FP and is also the, I guess, the target that you want to roll for. Now, this needs a lot of balancing that I'm probably going to have to do through a lot of math and or playtesting. But, you know, that's just how it is. If it does work out and if I do get the balance right, I have the feeling that it's going to be a very fun system to create some spells with, and possibly kill yourself in the process because you're making insanely dangerous stuff. What I will do as well is do some example combinations. Let me think about something real quick. Spatial, up here. Spatial does not have anything that directly hurts someone. A lot of these don't, actually. Of course, you know, shaping fire like around someone, that would hurt them, but you know, that's just the nature of fire. I don't have a spell that's like, ooh, bludgeon a person. What you do have is the spatial barrier. So, as the description says, creates a spatial resistance in one location. I guess I should probably remove this. Creates a spatial resistance. Because this game, as of right now, doesn't differentiate between damage types. It could, though, and that might lead you to be able to be more specific with your spells. But it doesn't differentiate between damage types, so this could be used for bludgeoning or slicing. If, for example, you create a barrier and then add movement to it. A movement and or target location. So then very quickly you can make effects that by themselves don't do much be fairly dangerous. Now, the damage of that kind of stuff, as well as the intensity factor, I have to I have to specify that kind of stuff, because otherwise that's going to be a pain in the ass for any kind of GM if the spells don't have some sort of baseline. Can you combine them? So growth barrier, wall of vines. As of right now, I was thinking that that would be a very situational thing, or maybe more of an exception to a rule, because shaping the creating a growth of plants that makes a wall would be more so done through shape, essentially, as a modifier to the effect of growth. But I do see what you're getting at. These were two different schools, by the way, so you probably already be very like adept at magic if you have both like spatial stuff and nature stuff. But of course, it's possible. For example, here, because I'm not entirely sure if I would leave that unrestricted, but that's the thing for playtesting. One thing that I specifically wanted to point out should be possible is that telepathy is possible to be combined with other psychic stuff. So telepathy itself is just you reaching out and communicating to a brain, I guess, another person or another creature. But most of these things, why not be able to project them onto something else as well? Like, otherwise, with telepathy, you're just, I guess, talking to a person. But why not just create a sound or a image in that person's mind and give them hallucinations? Or I guess you could project red thoughts to them, or project memories into another person, and I don't know, make them think that they're their memories or some stuff like that. You could get really crazy with it. That's kind of the intent. I 100% won't be able to think of all the crazy combinations that you can do yourself because I'm just one person. But I'm very hopeful and also expecting that people who have some creative ability will look at this in the future and be like, yeah, I want to have the absolute mindfuck spell, and I'm gonna be in a full menace. But that's just one example. There's so many different possible combinations, I guess. Yeah. There's also some things which I'm not sure how much I should have them in here, or how expensive I should make them, or put some other limiting factor on it, because state change I like in theory, but that is brutally dangerous if you manage to state change, I don't know, a person or air. Um, it's it has some very, very dire implications. Now, of course, how the game is run depends on the group and the GM. If you have grim dark, I guess you would very quickly have grim dark if you have people changing states of matter around very willy-nilly, because yeah, there would be consequences. But yeah, I was doing this just now, and I was about to actually, for a bit at least, hop off when you joined in. I hope you liked my little tangent, my little TED talk. If you do want to look at this yourself, actually, I do have to. Anyone can view. I did move this from the other Fig Jam onto this one, so it has a dark background and it's not as much of an eyesore. So you can look at this and look at all the different things yourself as much as you want on the server, which I'm going to... I can't put it on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure you're in the server already anyway, so hey, it is what it is. Mhm. There we go. I hope that link didn't mess everything up. But yeah. Thank you for hopping in anyway. Appreciate it. I will for now leave again and possibly be on later today. Won't make any promises because of the heat, but still. Thank you all for coming, everyone who was here. Hope you enjoyed it. I do have the Discord and hope to see you there. I'm gonna see you later.